And if Cahal can hear me, I now bring you the happy man from Ireland, Cahal Dunne.
Thank you very much, Jim. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this beautiful Corpus Christi church. It's a pleasure to be in Sturgeon Bay, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just organize myself. Everybody okay? Ready to sing? Please? Okay. My name is, let's see, can we get these going? Yeah. My name, you might bring these lights down a little bit, is Cahal. Ladies and gentlemen, it's alcohol without the al. And the last, it's Irish for Charlie, actually, Cahal. And the last name is Dunne. It's Irish for brown. So my name literally, in English, is Charlie Brown. That's right. And I was often thinking, had I used that name initially, would I have gone up the ladder faster? I don't know. But this is my first time in Sturgeon Bay. I've been made very, very welcome. I appreciate it very, very much. Do you like my tux? And you know, ladies and gentlemen, the best thing about this tux, it's made in America. And even better, recently so, in my sort of adopted home state of Pennsylvania. We, meaning my wife Kathleen, whom I met in Cape May, New Jersey, 23 years ago, or is it 24? Time is flying. And our little boy, Ryan, we live in Pittsburgh. So we hope the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Green Bay Packers will meet in the Super Bowl, and may the better team win. That's diplomatic, isn't it? But anyway, this is a beautifully restored piano. It's a privilege to play it this evening. And I'm going to just sing a little Irish, little medley for you, and you're going to sing the choruses. Just say yes. Good. Quick little story I heard last week. I thought it was rather funny. There was a fella back in Ireland. His name was Murphy, and he was from Cork. I come from Cork City in the southern part of Ireland, and he was a little bit of a rogue and a bit of a chancer, and he didn't like working. And he said to his boss, "Hey, boss," he says, "any chance I could have tomorrow off? My wife's going to have a baby." And he said, "Of course you can, Murphy. Good luck to you." Well, he met her a couple of days later. He said, "Well, Murphy," he said, "did she have a boy or a girl?" And he said, "Ah, boss," he says, "we won't know that for another 9 months." But anyway, are we ready? Are we ready? There's a tear in your eye and I'm wondering why. Sure, it never should be there at all. With such power in your smile, should a stone you'd beguile, so that never a teardrop should fall. With such sweet lilting laughter like some fairy song, and your eyes shining bright as can be. You can laugh all the while and all other times smile. Won't you please smile a sweet smile for me? When Irish eyes are smiling, shit is like a morning spring. You can hear the angels sing. When Irish hearts are happy, all the world seems bright and gay. And when sure they'll steal your away, lovely. Over in Killarney, my mother sang the song to me in tones so sweet and low. Just a simple Irish ditty in her good old Irish way. And I'd give the world if I could hear or sing the song today. Tura lura lura. Tura lura lura. Hush now, don't you cry. Tura lura lura. Tura lura lura. That's an Irish. There's a spot in my heart which no Colleen may own. There's a depth to my soul never sounded or known. There's a place in my memory, my life that you fill. No other can take it, no one ever will. Sure, I love the dear silver that shines in your hair, and the brow that's all furrowed and wrinkled with care. I kiss the dear fingers so toil-worn for me. Oh, God bless you and keep you, Mother Machree. And the last one. My wild, that's it, the sweetest flower that grows. You may search everywhere, but none can compare. My wild Irish rose, the sweetest flower that grows. And someday for my sake she may let me take the bloom from my wild Irish rose. Yeah. This is a new song, relatively new, maybe 20 years old, from Ireland, written by a fine Irish songwriter called Phil Coulter, called Home from the Sea. It's his tribute to the brave volunteer lifeboat men that go out along the Irish, all around the Irish and the English coastline in dreadful weather. They get the Mayday call. Usually they know who's out in the little fishing boat, the trawler, and they try and go out and save them before the waves get them. And this is just a gorgeous tune. I hope you like it. And that's the start. Home, home, home from the sea. And you're in key, so please stay in key, okay? Here we go. On a cold winter's night, with the storm at its height, the lifeboat answered the call. They pitched and they tossed till we thought they were lost as we watched from the harbor wall. Though the night was pitch black, there was no turning back, for someone was waiting out there. And each volunteer had to live with his fear as they joined in a silent prayer to carry us home, home, home from the sea. Angels of mercy, answer our plea and carry us home. Carry us safely home from the sea. As they battled their way past the mouth of the bay. It was blowing like never before. As they gallantly fought, every one of them thought of loved ones back on the shore. Then a flicker of light, and they knew they were right. There she was on the crest of a wave. She's an old fishing boat, and she's barely afloat. Please God, there are souls we can save and carry us home.
Home, home from the sea.
Angels of mercy, answer our plea. Take it away.
And carry us home. Home, home from the sea.
Carry us safely home
from the sea.
And back in the town, on the street that runs down to the sea and the harbor wall, they had gathered in pairs at the foot of the stairs to wait for the radio call. And just before dawn, when all hope was gone, came a hush and a faraway sound. 'Twas the coxswain, he roared, all survivors on board, thank God, and we're homeward bound to carry them home. Home, home from the sea. Angels of mercy, answer our plea and carry them home. Home, home from the sea. Carry them safely home
from the sea.
Home, home, home from the sea. Angels of mercy, answer our plea and carry us
home. Home, home from the sea.
Carry us safely home from the sea. Really good, ladies and gentlemen. Well done. Excellent singing. Next time I'm going to do a CD, I have my choir. Will you join me? Will you come in with me? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Irish music, we've sort of rediscovered it since about 1960. There was a man called Sean O'Riordan who sort of was the precursor to the Chieftains sound. You know the Chieftains music? And then, of course, it got very sophisticated, and then along came Riverdance and Lord of the Dance. And we had it all the time, but we sort of didn't realize how rich and flexible, really, the Irish music is. And I'd like to just give you a little quick demonstration of what you can do with very simple three-chord trick Irish reels. You know the little song, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the little girls with their curls that they do that sort of dancing. This is, my background was all classical, but I was able to play by ear. Anything I heard on the radio, I could get it out quickly enough. And I loved all sorts of music, classical, of course, pop, and then I got a bit more sophisticated in jazz and blues, and I wish I could play it better, but the main thing is I get it. That's the main thing, as long as you get it. And these three songs, you might have heard them before, The Rattling Bog, The Courting in the Kitchen, and The Irish Washerwoman. And I just put different styles into these little, just to give you a little quick example of how flexible, as I said, Irish music is. Here we go. Woo-hoo! Hey, thank you. Something a little bit different. I'm not ignoring you. The piano was over there when we came in. This is a little song, ladies and gentlemen. Again, a new Irish song. It might be 40 years old. That's just a little blink in Irish time, as you know. Gorgeous tune about a couple who stayed together all their lives through thick and thin. It's called After All These Years. And this guy who wrote the song is singing about his wife and just telling her, you know, after in the autumn of their lives, how much she has meant to him, like she's the light of his life, and all the lovely words that you hear in this tune. Unlike, by the way, the couple that I knew back in Ireland that got a divorce at 93. I said, Pat, are you cracked? 93? Why now? He said, we wanted to wait until the kids were dead. Do you know what? Here we go. All right. My darling, come to me. Sit you down easily and rest a while near the soft firelight. Cold is the night, but warm is my heart with pride. Having you by my side, you're still my guiding light. After all these years, your soft assuring ways, the rock I lean on, saw me through my darkest days when all hope had gone. You're still the only one I'll ever hold near, and I love you after all these years. Time from me passes on, and I'm growing old. A lifetime nearly gone, I cannot unfold. Nights stark and cold, but warm is your hand in mine. Feeble with ageless time, the light of love still shines after all these years. Your soft assuring ways, the rock I lean on, saw me through my darkest days when all hope had gone. You're still the only one I'll ever hold near, and I love you after all these years. I still love you after all these years. Yeah. Lovely, isn't it? Thank you, thank you. Now, I'm going to challenge you now, ladies and gentlemen. This is a little song, an Irish song called Give the Woman in the Bed More Porter. Not a quarter, porter, P-O-R-T-E-R, which of course is the black stuff, the Guinness, or where I come from further south in Ireland, Murphy's. Much better, and it's $1 cheaper here in this country. In the old days, in the old countries, as you know, large families were the norm. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 wasn't too unusual, as you know. Needed a lot of lads to help with the farm, etc., and the child mortality. But in Ireland, Mr. and Mrs. O'Brien, 100 years ago, they were exceptional even then. They'd certainly be on 60 Minutes today because they had 18 children. Can you imagine having 18 children? And Valium had not been invented yet. So they had to give her the forerunner to the sleeping tablets, which was, of course, porter. Gallons and gallons and gallons, apparently, of porter, so that she could sleep through the roaring, snoring, shouting, whining, whinging, fighting, bedwetting. And that was just her husband. So if you wouldn't mind, I'm going to teach you the chorus. It's very simple. You sing the title, Give the Woman in the Bed More Porter 3 times, and then the best line in it, before she wrecks the house. Because if she wakes up like she goes cracked altogether. And this is your part, ladies and gentlemen. Give the woman in the bed more porter, give the woman in the bed more porter, give the woman in the bed more porter before she wrecks the house. That's simple, isn't it? Have you got that? Don't worry about the key, you're in F, no problem. Mrs. O'Brien was a little bit deaf as well. And that probably explains the 18 children, because every night when her husband got into bed, he said, well, will we go to sleep or what? And she'd go, what? And suddenly like, O'Brien was a friend of mine. He had a mighty wife. She bred him 18 children through the years of joy and strife. When her temper started rising, she would turn a blazing red, and she'd maybe break a bowl or two as she thundered off to bed. Give the woman in the bed more porter, give the woman in the bed more porter, give the woman in the bed more porter. That's it. And when she had her fill of porter, then she began to snore, and the bed would shake and rattle as the thunder on the floor. O'Brien manned the kitchen as the blankets flew about. Then he'd run like heck to get more drink as she began to shout, give the woman in the bed more porter. Give the woman in the bed more porter. That's it. On your own, the next chorus. Well, the doctors tried for years and years to cool her temper down. They fed her herbs and potions and powders by the pound. But the man who cured her temper, a Scotcher, Paddy Mallon, said to keep her cool, you've got to feed her porter by the gallon. Give the woman in the bed. As I said, rhythm, diction, pitch, perfect. Okay, well done. And when she had her fill of porter, then she began to sing. And sometimes when she'd had her fill, she'd dance a Highland fling. When O'Brien took a drop himself, they'd join her in a song. And a happier pair you never saw, they'd sing the whole night long. Give the woman in the bed more porter, give the woman in the bed. Give the woman in the bed more porter. Ah, give the woman in the bed more porter. Give the woman in the bed more porter before she wrecks the house. You're so good. Well done, ladies and gentlemen. Your modulating was perfect from F to G. Well done. You can modulate very well. There's a piano vocal teacher here. I'm sure she'd be very proud of you. As I said, about 23 years ago, I met Kathleen, and she's a lovely girl from New Jersey. We actually got a little bit of bad news about her the other day. We just found out she lost her credit card and somebody's using it. I know. Mind you, I didn't cancel because he's spending way less than she does, you know. But anyway, the gentlemen know the story, that type of feeling when you get your shock, you think you're paid up. We, about 8 months before Kathleen was about 8 months pregnant, when friends of ours in Pittsburgh found this next tune. They said, listen, we found a song, it's called My Son. And if you have a little boy, you might like to sing this in your show. And I had to listen to it, and not having had the experience, of course, I thought it was the corniest thing I've ever heard in my life. But I was at the birth a month later. I played the song. I thought it was the greatest song I ever heard in my life. It just says it all exactly as to what it's like to feel like and be a parent, you know? Be it a boy or a girl, in this case, a boy. I hope you like it. My son, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Son, you were the seed of life in me, and now I can't believe the man I see. With pride I watch you grow up. You wanted so much to change the world for me, my son. You gave my simple life its key. Through you I see God's love and mystery. You build up my life with your sweet music. It's written in the song. This melody belongs to you and me, my son. Son, I taught you everything I know. For soon, one day I'll have to let you go. I would gladly die if it saved you from the heartaches, fears, and all the bad breaks that tear your world apart. My son, you faced the truth and you stood tall. And now we face the hardest truth of all. I must say goodbye, but you must go on living. And when my life is through, I'll always be with you, my own beloved son. I watch you now with pride. What more is there to life than you and me, my son? Yeah. Thank you very, very much. Isn't that lovely? When our little fella was 4 years old, he landed a small little part in the Christmas preschool presentation, you know. He wasn't a cow or a sheep or donkey. Oh, our fellow wouldn't take a part of that. He wanted a speaking part. So they gave him one, literally, one word. The word no. His favorite word from 2 to 6, as you probably know, he was the innkeeper. And when Joseph asks, is there any room at the inn? Ryan says, no. Great at rehearsal, in daylight, the boring old school, the attention span of a 4-year-old. But when you come out here in front of all of you people, and it's usually the lights are blinding, in which they were, it's difficult. The show started. Joseph and Mary come out on the backs of 2 poor unfortunate devils. Their part was the donkey, stitched together with a bit of material. And Joseph Joseph hops off the donkey and he knocks at the door. And our fella doesn't come out, he's pushed out. And he hasn't a clue where he is. Lights are blinding him. And before he can figure it out, Joseph utters those famous words, "Innkeeper, is there any room at the inn?" And Ryan says, "Yes." We were on the floor. And the show was stuck like a video freeze. Like, nobody knew where to go, what to do. But Joseph was brilliant. In fairness, like he was a senior citizen. He was 9. He had to be taller to symbolize a man like St. Joseph. So he looks at Mary and says, "Hey, Mary, let's get out of here. This place stinks. Let's go to the stables." And off they go. And they walk around the back of the stage. And by the time they come around again, our fella has beamed up somewhere permanently, never to be seen again, and never got apart again. But the following year, though, something rather nice happened. Kathleen had been making these lovely Christmas white angels, you see, for the Christmas tree. And then when it came time to put them on, she was keeping them occupied. And out of the blue, he says, "Mummy, can I have an angel for Sarah?" And she knew that Sarah was a little Down syndrome girl in their preschool class. So she wrapped up the little angel, and we went over to the sing-along. And at the end of it, when he went down and he gave it to her, and she was thrilled. I suppose the outside attention, you know. And I was touched, and I said, "Why did you do that?" He said, "Dad, the teacher told us that Sarah is special, and we must include her in everything we do." And I thought that was brilliant on the teacher's part to give him a lovely example of inclusion like that. And it's rather sweet of Ryan. And I came home, doodled on the piano for a couple of days, and I came up with this little song. Guess what it was called? "An Angel for Sarah." You have it. Exactly. Hope you like it. Yesterday my wife made white little angels. A little boy helped her put them on the tree. Funny how sunshine comes in the strangest ways. When he turned to his mommy and he said, "Can I have an angel from the Christmas tree and give it to Sarah, who's not quite like me?" Teacher said she's special and she needs our love. She is happy in her own world, but we must try and make her part of ours. Driving to our folks through the rain and snow, and I complain it's gonna take us hours. But Daddy, if we didn't have the rain sometimes, we would never have such pretty flowers. Can I have an angel from the Christmas tree and give it to Sarah, who's not quite like me? Teacher said she's special and she needs our love. She is happy in her own world, but we must try and make her part of ours. Can I have an angel from the Christmas tree and give it to Sarah, who's not quite like me. Teacher said she's special and she needs our love. She is happy in her own world, but we must try and make her part of ours. And give it to Sarah, who's not quite like me. Oh yeah, thank you very, very much. Woo! All right. I hope you like that, ladies and gentlemen. Here's another fantastic song. One of yours should be way, way more popular than it is. It's called Two Little Boys. The two little boys are Jack and Joe. A few short years before the Civil War here in America, one of the saddest periods of carnage in this country, as you know. Brother against brother sometimes. But little Jack's horse, they're playing toy soldiers, and his horse disintegrates, starts crying. Joe says, "Stop crying, hop up on my horse, so we can go as fast on one." All pretend. He immediately forgot the little favor he did for his pal. Jack never did. And a few short years later, they're in the thickened terror of battle, and he sees his old friend Joe pretty badly wounded on the battlefield up ahead of him. And despite the fact that they were on opposite sides and disregarding the indiscriminate bullets that you veterans know so well, he charges out bravely and he rescues his friend. That's the lovely message in this. Man's love for his fellow man, despite all the madness that we still create against each other, sadly. Especially for the veterans. I hope you like it. Two Little Boys. Here we go. Two little boys had two little toys. Each had a wooden horse. Gaily they played each summer's day. Warriors both, of course. One little chap then had a mishap. Broke off his horse's head. Wept for his toy, then cried with joy when his young playmate said, "Did you think I would leave you crying when there's room on my horse for two? Climb up here, Jack, and stop your crying. I can go just as fast with two. When we grow up, we'll both be soldiers, and our horses will not be toys. And I wonder, will we remember when we were two little boys?" Long years passed, war came so fast. One wore blue, the other gray. Cannonballs loud, and in the mad crowd, wounded and dying lay. Up goes a shout, a horse dashes out from the ranks so blue. Gallops away to where Joe lay, then came a voice he knew. Did you think I would leave you dying when there's room on my horse for two? Climb up here, Joe, we'll soon be flying. I can go just as fast with two. Do you see, Joe, I'm all a-tremble. Perhaps it's the battle's noise, but I think it's that I remember when we were two little boys. Did you think I would leave you dying when there's room on my horse for two? Climb up here, Joe, we'll soon be flying. I can go just as fast with two. You see, Joe, I'm all a-tremble. Perhaps it's the battle's noise, but I think it's that I remember when we were two little boys. Great song for all the veterans. Thank you. Thank you very, very, very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's a smashing tune, isn't it? I love the message in that. There was this fella back in Ireland, his name was Casey, and he was in dire need of a bit of cash. So he decided to do something really stupid. He'd rob a bank. And he got the gun, put on the old mask, held up the girl, got a big bag full of money, running out the door, you know, doing very well until a very brave clerk stuck his foot out, and didn't he trip him? And when he fell, the old mask fell off him. But he quickly put it up again. But he figured that fella and that fella recognized him. So he shot him. Boom, boom. And at this point, they're all terrified. And he said, "Did anybody else see me?" And Murphy put his hand up. He says, "I think my wife got a quick look." Anybody here with a bit of Norwegian in them, ladies and gentlemen? I'm sure there are. Yes, you have a bit of Norwegian. Anybody else? Little Norwegian? Well, take a bow, Jim. The next, yourself as well? Good for you. The next song, the music was written by Ralph Larson from Norway. And the words were written by an Irishman called Brendan Graham. Proud to say he's a friend of mine. I left Ireland due to the recession. He wanted to leave as well. He was married at the time, had teenage kids. I wasn't. They wouldn't budge. And so he stuck it out. But in fairness to him, he kept songwriting. And he met this gentleman at a song festival in Norway about 16 or 17 years ago. And he could see how good Brendan was with lyrics. And he says, "Listen," he says, "would you have a go at this melody? My wife thinks if somebody wrote some good words, it might have a chance." Brendan came home, and 2 weeks later, he wrote possibly one of the best songs in 20 years, "You Raise Me Up." That marvelous? And so they are now multi-millionaires, Brendan and Ralph. But sometimes we go on a little Irish tour. I'll tell you about that in a few minutes. And he comes in sometimes, and he sings a song or two for us, just for old time's sake, you know. And he said to everybody that, yeah, the money is grand. They don't have any financial problems anymore. He didn't have much before that. But he said, you wouldn't believe the hundreds and hundreds of letters we have received from all over the world thanking us for helping people through the most horrendous loss and devastating sadness that they could imagine. He said, it might sound corny, but that is my gold. And he was sincere. And I love that line, "You raise me up to more than I can be." That is inspired, isn't it? I couldn't write that in a million years, but I can sing better than he does. Don't ever tell him I said that. But anyway, I hope you like it. You raise me up, ladies and gentlemen. When I am down and oh, my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burden be, then I am still and waiting in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You want to sing it? You raise me up, I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. And I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can see. There is no life without its hunger. Each pricked heart beats so imperfectly. But when you come and I am filled with wonder, sometimes I think I glimpse eternity.
You raise me up so I can stand on mountains.
I can stand on mountains.
Raise me up to walk on stormy seas.
And I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be. Thank you. Love that song. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a song called Donald, Where's Your Trousers? All about a fella called? Yes, Donald. The questions get harder. There was a lady down the road from our house in Cork. Her name was Mrs. Quinn, and she was a widow. So guess what we called her? God, you are good. You should be on television. Yes, the widow Quinn is what we called her. And Mrs. Quinn, the widow Quinn, was only 60 when her husband died, the poor man, you know. And somebody said to me, you know why the men die before the women? I says, no. He says, because they want to. It was he said, I didn't know, he said. But anyway, be that. Her only child, her daughter, was always trying to arrange blind dates for her mother in the hope that she'd have a little company, you see, for the rest of her life. So one night she organized a date with a Mr. O'Reilly. Very, very nice man, but he was 87. But he could still drive at night. That was huge. Anyway, he comes along and he picks her up and they go off to dinner or whatever. And the daughter couldn't wait for the report, you see. So finally she comes over and says, well, Ma, she says, how did it go? She said, that man, I had to smack his face 6 times. Oh, he got fresh? No, I thought he was dead. So, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Donald lived in Scotland a long time ago, and in his tradition, his culture, he wore the kilt, you see. And as a young man, he went down to London in the kilt, and he discovered the women absolutely loved it. So that's the song. And every time it comes around the party, it goes, Donald, where's your trousers? I think it'll be, I am, yeah. You go, Donald, where's your trousers? Okay? That's all you got to do. And don't do the English trousers, do the Scottish, get it up like trousers. Could you do that? Trousers. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you with me? Say yes. Okay, let's try it. Bit of fun. Here we go. I've just come down from the Isle of Skye. I'm no very big and I'm awful shy. The lassies shout when I go by, Donald, where's your trousers? Let the wind blow high, let the wind blow low. Through the streets in the kilt they'll go. All the lassies say, hello! A lassie took me to a ball, and it was slippery in the hall, and I was feared that I would fall, for I had me on me trousers. Let the wind blow high, let the wind blow low. Through the streets in the kilt I'll go. All the lassies say, hello! Now I went down to London town, and I had some fun in the underground. The ladies turned their heads around, saying, Donald, where are your trousers? Let the wind blow high, let the wind blow low. Through the streets in my kilt I'll go. All the lassies say, hello! To wear the kilt is my delight. It is not wrong, I know it's right. The islanders would get a fright if they saw me in the trousers. Let the wind blow high, let the wind blow low. Through the streets in my kilt I'll go. All the lassies say, hello! The lassies want me, everyone, well, let them catch me if you can. You cannot put the brakes on a heeling man, and I don't wear the trousers. Let the wind blow high, let the wind blow low. Through the streets in the kilt I'll go. All the lassies say, hello! Donald, where's your trousers? Oh, well, that's the way we sing the song in Scotland, don't you know? But of course, the song might have more commercial appeal, sung something like this. Well, I've just come down from the Isle of Skye. I'm not very big and I'm awful shy. The lassies shout when I go by, Donald, where's your trousers? Let the wind blow high, let the wind blow low. Through the streets of my kilt I go. Oh yeah, go, 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 hey Donald, where's your trousers? Oh man, I'm rock and roll, moving on the groove and to save my soul. Grab your kilt and go, 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 hey Donald, where's your trousers? Let the wind blow high, let the wind blow low. Through the streets of my kilt I go. Oh yeah, go, 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 hey Donald, where's your trousers? Hey Donald, where's your trousers? Hey, 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 just a minute, what are you doing there? Man, I'm rocking it, man. I'm really moving it, man. Well, you just stop rocking it and moving it, man. The song should be sung exactly like this. Down from the sky, I'm no very big and I'm awful shy. The lassies shout when I go by. Let the wind blow high, let the wind blow low. Through the streets in the kilt I'll go. All the lassies say, hello! Donald, where's your trousers? Yeah. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very, very much. Woo. Oh, yeah. Oh. Bit of nonsense. And your trousers was exceptional, ladies and gentlemen. Do you like Broadway? So do I. This is my fall ensemble. Made in America. Very proud of that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll give you a choice. I have a Broadway album. I have a few songs on it, perhaps Music of the Night, or How to Handle a Woman, or Sunrise, Sunset. What would you like? Music of the Night? So be it. This actually, interestingly, is not on my Broadway album. It's on my album, The Best Of, just so that in case you might buy it later. This gentleman, Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber, certainly deserves his knighthood. He's been fantastically successful, and deservedly so. His melodic genius is, I think, one of the best in the 20th century. But anyway, of all his music, this is my favorite, perhaps yours as well. It's from the Phantom of the Opera, Music of the Night, okay? Is there any soprano who can come up and sing the soprano part? Don't rush me now. Well, I guess it's back to me then. So here we go. This just absolutely gorgeous tune. Nighttime sharpens, heightens each sensation. Darkness stirs, wakes imagination. Silently the senses abandon their defenses. Slowly, gently, night unfurls its splendor. Grasp it, sense it, tremulous and tender. Turn your face away from the garish light of day. Turn your thoughts away from cold, unfeeling light. And listen to the music of the night. Close your eyes and surrender to your darkest dreams. Purge your thoughts of the life you knew before. Close your eyes, let your spirit start to soar. And you live as you've never lived before. Softly, deftly, music shall caress you. Hear it, feel it, secretly possess you. Open up your mind, let your fantasies unwind in this darkness which you know you cannot fight. The darkness of the music of the night. Let your mind start a journey through a strange new world. Purge your thoughts of the life you knew before. Let your soul take you where you long to be. Only then can you belong to me. Floating, falling, sweet intoxication. Touch me, trust me, savor each sensation. Let your dream begin, let your darkest side give in to the power of the music that I write. The power of the music of the night. You alone can make my song take flight. Help me make the music of the night. Thank you. What a great song. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Love that one. I wish I wrote that one. Andrew Lloyd Webber has been compared to Mozart. It's a bit of a stretch. But in fairness, he's done very well in the 20th century. But there will never be another Mozart. He was the greatest genius of any of the sciences because what he wrote down was always beautifully channeled from above, perfection. And you know, the thing was, according to history, he never corrected a note he wrote down. Isn't that disgusting? How I envy that. But anyway, he died very young, a very poor man, sadly, but he left us with such marvelous music. Here's one of them, ladies and gentlemen, from Austria, the great Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart's 40th Symphony, first movement. He had a massive hit with this in Vienna about 300 years ago. Oh, God, yeah, he won the Grammy that year and everything. But anyway, it's not quite played the way he wrote it, but sure, he's dead, so what can he do? So, little piece by, as his wife called him, Wolfie. Historically correct. How is it going, Wolfie? Not so good. This symphony is kaputt. I love that German word, kaputt. Here we go. Thank you. Mozart, thank you very much. However, there's always a however. He just turned in his grave, the poor man. Do you like country music, ladies and gentlemen? So do I. How are you doing? Again, made in America. This, ladies and gentlemen, I have a country CD, and I have all what I love. I prefer the older country to the newer country, and I have Alan Jackson, Vince Gill, Tom T. Hall, Willie Nelson, George Strait, all the great guys. we had all the songs finished, and one of the lads, he was a pedal steel guitar player. This is about 2 years ago now. He said, listen, I've been listening to you for the last week, and there's a new tune. It's written by Mark Lowry of the Gaither Band. And he said, I think you should do it. You could sing it all right, he says. And to be nice, on your CD, it's called Mary, Did You Know? Do you know this one? You probably know it by now. I didn't know it at the time. He said, I have it out in the truck. Went out and had a listen, loved it, and came in. And the boys had only a half an hour left of studio time for the whole week, and they wrote down the chords, and we did it in one take. So I think it's very appropriate in this lovely church this evening. So this gorgeous song, as we approach Christmas, Mary, Did You Know? And then we'll do, hang on. Can we do one more after that, or will we take a break? What do you think? One more and take a break? And then we'll do a few minutes of a break, and we'll come back and do about a half an hour. Is that okay with you? Because I'm in no hurry. I'm staying in a mansion this evening. I am. Anyway, Mary, Did You Know? Here we go. Mary, did you know that your baby boy will one day walk on water? Mary, did you know that your baby boy will save our sons and daughters? Did you know that your baby boy has come to make you new? This child that you've delivered will soon deliver you. Mary, did you know that your baby boy will give sight to a blind man? Mary, did you know that your baby boy will calm a storm with his hand? Did you know that your baby boy has walked where angels trod? When you kiss your little baby, you've kissed the face of God. The blind will see, the deaf will hear, and the dead will live again. The lame will leap, the dumb will speak, the praises of the Lamb. Did you know that your baby boy is Lord of all creation? Mary, did you know that your baby boy will one day rule the nations? Did you know that your baby boy is heaven's perfect lamb? The sleeping child you're holding is the great I am. What a, what a fantastic song. Thank you very much. Also, on the table, there's a yellow and a white flyer, and it talks about our tours to Ireland every year. We've gone to Ireland for the last 20 years, twice a year. And if you'd like to come, how many people have been on an endurance test in Europe? Many of you. Getting up at 6 in the morning and all that sort of awful stuff. We've made every mistake now, I'll be honest with you, but we have the most relaxed tour that ever went to Ireland. We have tweaked and tweaked and tweaked it. And so we have 2 days, 2 nights in each hotel, all waterfront, 4-star. Guarantee of the food is excellent. All dinners, you don't have to think, dinners and breakfast looked after. We stop along the way, along the back roads of Ireland for lunch, bowl of soup and a roll and a cup of coffee or something, you'd be perfect. And the other nice thing is we never leave before 10 o'clock in the morning. What more would you want? And from New York, it's about 5.5 hours over to Ireland. So if you're fun, and I think you would be, you'd be very welcome. If you're not fun, please don't come with us. Because we don't want any downers on the bus, bringing the vibe down. We want up people, up, up. And that's the June trip. We do the southern part of Ireland, all the places you've heard of very well. And then in September, if you fancy, we're going to fly into Scotland, do 4 nights there, and 5 nights, 6 nights, I think, in sort of Northern Ireland. We cut across Belfast, Donegal, and we come down into Dublin for the last 2 nights. You know, if you've been to Ireland before, if you want to check out the airfare on your own, that's fine. Our company can do it if you like. Whatever you want. If you want to extend the trip, please do. Do your own thing after. There's no extra flight charge, if you know what I mean. So that's about it. This next tune, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to sing it for you, is written in memory of the people, forgive me when I get it here, the people who died on September 11th and the people who subsequently died in the wars subsequent to that. I'm a citizen of America now. I was never prouder to be a citizen those few days after September, when we were all American, the whole world really, but we were unified like we're not today. We're so polarized, it's tragic and very destructive. But after the anger and despair and disbelief and the obvious sadness for people involved, came the incredible American resilience and the selfless generosity and bravery that amazed me. And it's a cliche, but when things were at their worst, the American people were at their best. And I'm proud to say that Ireland was the only country in the world that had a national day of mourning for September 11th. And we were in Ireland a few days later, and you would have been amazed. We went around for a bit of therapy to the American Embassy in Dublin. And do you remember when poor old Princess Di died and the flowers around Buckingham Palace? It was the exact same way around the American Embassy, all the flowers from the Irish people. And a mile-long queue, Irish people waiting to go in and sign the Book of Condolences. My mother, her good friend, and her child were on one of the planes that went to the towers. So everybody seems to know somebody who was affected by it, and of course the economy. But anyway, my friend and I, my friend Shay Duffin, also an Irishman, citizen, and we said, let's see, can we capture just this moment, not what happened afterwards, but just what was happening at the time. And it's called The Eagle Has Risen. And once again, I hope the veterans like this song. And then we'll take a little break. So here we go. I hope you like it. The Eagle Has Risen, ladies and gentlemen. On September 11, 2001, you forces of evil, your dark deed was done. The innocent, the heroes, the man on the street, all fell by your malice in a single heartbeat. Now, you heartless terrorist, you've nowhere to rest. You've awakened the eagle, you invaded his nest. You may crawl to your cave, but you've nowhere to hide, for the eagle has risen with God on his side. Glory, glory, soaring eagle, Glory, glory in your flight. Let freedom be your battle cry and guide you through the night. Glory, glory, fly, oh glory, cross a land so strong and free, where love and life and liberty dawns each day from sea to sea. The guardians of freedom, the brave G.I. Joe, has answered the call. He knows where to go. He'll search you out surely and bring you to heel, while we here at home will mourn, mend, and heal. Glory, glory, soaring eagle, glory, glory in your flight. Let freedom be your battle cry and guide you through the night. Glory, glory, fly, oh glory, cross a land so strong and free, where love and life and liberty dawns each day from sea to sea. Again let the words go forth, let all terrorists hear that you never will break us with bombs, threats or fear. We're a nation all one who knows right from wrong, and our freedom rings out with each patriot song. Glory, glory, fly, oh glory, cross a land so strong and free, where love and life and liberty dawns each day from sea to sea. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Hiya, hiya. Is that on or is it? Oh, yeah, okay. You like the tales? Ta-da. Thank you for buying the CDs. I appreciate it. My wife appreciates it. But the reason why I bought these tales a few years ago, ladies and gentlemen, was, I forget when, but we were, Kathleen, Ryan, and I were in Heinz Hall. That's our nice hall in Pittsburgh. And the Pittsburgh Symphony were on the stage waiting to accompany one of the greats, Victor Borge, God rest him. And Victor, unfortunately, he died sadly a few months later, but he was about 93 or so, and he shuffled out. The legs were gone, you know, but man, could he still play. Never quite finished anything, but he had this beautifully cut tails in him. And when he got to the grand piano, he did this with the tails, like that. And the crowd went wild. So I'm going to do that again now. Thank you, Sturgeon Bay. Here's a piece I'm sure you like. You'll recognize it, of course. It's by the great, sadly, the late, great Tchaikovsky. He had a big hit with this in Russia about 200 years ago. Not quite played the way he wrote it, but just like poor old Mozart, also dead. But it's his Piano Concerto number 1 in B-flat minor. So here we go. Thank you very much. Woo! Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. However, Tchaikovsky also just turned in his grave. Would you like to hear Danny Boy? Good, good, good. I appreciate that. I think the air, the Derry air, or the London Derry air, as it was known, or it is known, is perfect. And a different composer wrote the words, put the two of them together, and I think you've got perfection. There are many theories as to who is singing Danny Boy. Certainly, it could be a mother facing her son's imminent leave to America. And then there's another story that I heard that I like. It could be a legend, I don't know, but it's Danny's father singing to his final son before he goes off to do battle for Ireland's freedom a long time ago. And according to the story, his two older brothers had been killed in some previous uprising, and his dad hopes and prays that Danny will be back safe and well, and that he, of course, will be there to greet him. But if he has passed on, for Danny to please find his resting place, say a little prayer, an Ave, a little prayer over his grave, and he will sense it where we go next. So amazing words, amazing melody. Danny Boy, thank you. Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the roses fallen. 'Tis you must go and I must bide. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed and white with snow. 'Tis I'll be here in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, I love you so. And if he come and all the flowers are dying, if I am dead, as dead I well may be, please come and find the place where I am lying, kneel and say an Ave there for me, and I shall hear, though soft you tread above me, and all my grave shall warmer, sweeter be, if you will bend and tell me that you love me. Then I shall sleep in peace until you come to Thank you very much. Thank you very, very, very much. I'm going to come over here now so that you don't think I'm ignoring you all over here. My mother, Rena, sadly, she died about 6 years ago, the poor thing, of dementia. My dad, Jared, he died sadly a few months ago in the end of May. But my mother and father, if you knew them, I'm positive you'd have liked them. She was a small lady. She's only 5 feet tall. My dad was about 5'7", so I never reached the full height that I wanted to be. Same old story. If you're small, you want to be tall. If you're tall, you want to be smaller. But anyway, Granny was the culprit. She was only 4 feet 11, and that's really small. And as she grew older, she grew smaller. So if you see me coming back again in a couple of years' time, you know, I could be gone. You know? Talking about my father, ladies and gentlemen, he was a great guy, and there's a brilliant song. I'd like to sing it for you. My dad was an academic, really. He had hopes to be a priest, and then he didn't do that, and then he wanted to be a doctor, and his mother says, you go up to college and be an accountant. So he became an accountant, and he met my mother in Cork, and there was 5 of us. And they didn't have much money, but we were, we were all the same, and we never went hungry. But every summer, Dad would correct the equivalent here of the SATs in mathematics. And for a long, boring all month, he'd sit there in the living room with the papers all over the place, correcting papers. We didn't know, but that gave us the luxury of a 2-week vacation in a small little town called Youghal. Youghal, come back now, you hear? It was a little town that separated Waterford City, where he was from, and Cork City, where Mum was from. And we had a ball, down on the beach and at the amusements, we used to call them the Marys, every night. And and then he'd bring us into the fields. We came from the city, and he'd tell us all about the various trees and the animals, the badgers and the hares and the foxes, and the amazing eco-life within the hedges along the roadsides of Ireland. And it was fabulous, He wasn't a jock. I'm not a jock. My son is. I never thought I'd have a jock for a son. But anyway, this next tune, ladies and gentlemen, sums up my feeling for my father. And I think you'll very much relate to it, because within seconds you're in the country here as well. So it's called The Old Man. That's what we say. How is the old man? Like, how is your father? And just go and have a listen to the words. I think this is perfect in its simplicity. Okay. The tears have all been shed now. We've said our last goodbyes. His soul's been blessed, he's laid to rest, and it's now I feel alone. He was more than just my father, my teacher, my best friend, and he'll still be heard in the tunes we share when I play them on my own. And I never will forget him, for he made me what I am. Though he may be gone, memories linger on. And I miss him, the old man. As a boy, he'd take me walking on mountain, field, and stream, and he showed me things not known to kings, but secret between him and me, like the color on the pheasant as he rises on the dawn, or how to fish or make a wish beside a fairy tree. And I never will forget him, for he made me what I am. Though he may be gone, memories linger on, and I miss him, the old man. I thought he'd live forever. He seemed so big and strong, but the minutes fly and the years roll by for a father and a son. And suddenly, when it happened, there was so much left unsaid. No second chance to tell him thanks for everything he'd done. And I never will forget him, for he made me what I am. Though he may be gone, memories linger on. God, I miss him, the old man. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's pretty powerful stuff, isn't it? That gorgeous song, The Old Man. And in memory of my mother, and I think this is a perfect place to do this second last song, if that's okay with you. My mother, she was fantastic, but she would not give us any praise. She thought if she gave us a bit of praise, we'd get a swelled head, and it would be bad for us, you see. But she fed us, and she gave us a smack when we needed it, and she told us go for it when she thought we were chickening out, all the good stuff. But she wouldn't say, for example, I'm in Kinsale for 2 nights in our little tour. It's one of the most gorgeous little seashore fishing villages ever you could wish to meet. But I'm about 11 miles from Kinsale in Cork, you see. And Mum and Dad loved to come and visit you all when you came to visit Ireland with me. And she'd love to have dinner with all of you. So I'm in the middle of this. It's about a table for about 12, And I was halfway through my songs of inspiration. And I said, Mum, I'm doing this nice new album. This is about 5 or 6 years ago. And I have it half done. But is there any hymn or any nice, inspiring song that you like? And I'll put it on. And in typical fashion, she says, I have a favorite hymn, but I'm not so sure you could sing it. And I love your expression. I had to suck it up and say, which one is that, Ma? And she says, I love How Great Thou Art. And truthfully, I could accompany anybody because I knew the melody. I never actually read the words until I had to learn it. And it's now my favorite hymn as well. And I think the words are equally good as the music. And so this is How Great Thou Art, if I may, in memory of my mother, ladies and gentlemen. And anyway, just to finish the little story off, just want to make sure. we got the call. My sister lives in Connecticut and I in Pittsburgh, that Mum was bad. And we got there. We didn't get there for my dad, but I was able to say goodbye with my other sister's cell phone, with just speakerphone, with Dad all hooked up to every damn thing. But at least he heard my last thank you, you know. But anyway, we went back from Mum's funeral when we got a few weeks later. And after the funeral, I went home to our little house, and I went into her humble little collection of CDs, a dozen maybe. And guess who was on top of the pack? I said, yes, she did listen, you know. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you like it, and I hope you'll sing it. Very simple, I mean, it's very profound, simple key, the key of C. Everybody can sing in that key. So, How Great Thou Art, ladies and gentlemen, here we go.
How great thou art, how great thou art.
O Lord my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the worlds thy hands have made, I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy power throughout the universe displayed. When through the woods and forest glades I wander and hear the birds sing sweetly in the trees. When I look down from lofty mountain grandeur and hear the brook and feel the gentle breeze, then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. And when I think that God his Son not sparing sent him to die, I scarce can take it in, that on the cross my burden gladly bearing, he bled and died to take away my sin.
When Christ shall come with shouts of acclamation and take me home, what joy shall fill my heart.
Then I shall bow in humble adoration and there proclaim, my God, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art.
How great thou art,
How great thou art.
how great thou art.
Oh, yeah. How great thou art. Thank you so much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have to say au revoir to you all. I love the French, le français. I wish I could speak it, but I cannot. But listen, it's been a pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to be in Sturgeon Bay with you here. And good luck to the Packers, in fairness. You're doing very well. And thank you very much, Father Birdsall, for having me. And it's a pleasure to know you. You're a good guy. I can see that a mile away. And until I see you, I'd like to finish up with this last little tune. I was coming home from Florida. I go to Florida every January, February, March every year, mostly the West Coast, doing up and down in the gated community type sort of thing, clubhouses, I'm sure you know what I mean. I love it, just very similar to what I do here tonight. And it was before I had the old satellite radio. I love satellite radio. And every time I got into a talk show, for example, 10 minutes later, going, when you're losing the reception. So I turned it off in frustration, and I challenged myself from Fort Myers to Pittsburgh. It's about 19 hours. Could I write a song without the piano? I usually sort of start with the melody. And I came up with this tune. I had been wined and dined and golfed and sailed with all your fellow Americans down there, had a ball, very grateful, and very respectful of the veterans' sacrifices, you see, that I knew very well. And I came up with this little song, and it's called The Journey. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to finish, and I sincerely thank the community, the civic community, and the Ebbisols, Jim and Karen, for all your tremendous hospitality. And I'm going to put on, as it's a bit patriotic, my final ensemble of the evening. I'm sure you are breathless. Put the damn thing on, we're tired. Okay. You like it? Made in China? Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. A friend of mine said, it's a nice jacket, but you look like a barcode. I said, why do they have to say something nice and then stick it to you? I don't know. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, take care of yourselves, save home, and I hope we will meet again down the road, all right? So here it is, and thanks once again. The Journey. I hope you like it. Here we go. Okay. I wake up each morning, I'm glad I'm alive. Get up with the sunshine and you by my side. I fought for my country, did it with pride. Raised a good family and we're still alive. And our journey is not over. It will never be. I thank my God and my country for this life you've given me. So many distractions, just living today. I feel so sad for all those losing their way. I think of my grandkids and choke up with pride. God, keep them safe and well in your holy light. And our journey is not over. It will never be. I thank my God and my country for this life you've given me. And our journey is not over. It will never be. I thank my God and my country for this life you've given me. And our journey is not over. it will never be. I thank my God and my country for this life you've given me. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Letty, for the show. Take care of yourselves. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, sir. Big man. Thank you. Woo-hoo. One more. All right. You want one more? My God, you're gluttons. All right, I'll be happy to do one more, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very, very much. If I may I do, yeah, there's a lot of people leaving, that's okay. I understand. You've had enough. This next tune is a very simple little love song called Happy Man. And if I hadn't written this song in 1979, I would have never have had the pleasure and the adventure and all the good stuff of living in America. I was in college doing music. That's all I knew about, to be honest with you. And I got the degree, and all the openings were for teachers, you know. So I did a bit of high school teaching for a while, and I enjoyed it, but I wanted to be this. And I started a little group, and we went on the road in Ireland, up and down the byways, and it was tough enough, but I still enjoyed it. And then teaching, going back in the morning and teaching again, like after being up all night. But when you're 20, and you could do that, couldn't we? But not anymore. But anyway, there's a little song festival in Ireland called the National Song Contest, and any person has the right to submit. It was in those days a cassette. You could sing into it, drunk out of your mind, and think you're going to qualify. And I sent the song in, and thousands, I suppose, went in, and I qualified, and I got into the National Song Contest. And it was then, just like then it happened like American Idol. They put us on, 8 of us, and everybody could phone in. And I luckily won with this next tune, and it went on to become my first #1, my only #1. But anyway, that gave me the honor to represent Ireland that year in the bigger song festival in Europe, the Eurovision. And I had a whole load of offers of work, and so I gave up the teaching, much to the heartbreak of my mother, the poor thing. She said, "Ma, you can put your rosary beads away. I'm not going back teaching." But anyway, and she never accepted it, unfortunately. But this is the tune. So then, of course, as I was rising, the country was falling to pieces with the recession, and the dance halls, the clubs, they were all closing. And I had 2 choices: go back teaching or go for it and emigrate. And I did. And as Jim says, I don't have a single cousin in this country. It seems my crowd, my ancestors, we were all born in the city, and you had a better shot at employment than being, say, one of 8 on a farm in Ireland. I'm sure you know that story. So I don't have a cousin in this country. So if there's a guy called Lynch here, my mother was Lynch. So I hope you're my cousin. But anyway, this is the very simple little tune called Happy Man. And I will leave you a very happy man after tonight, I assure you. If we could have an orchestra, there we go. Okay. It seemed life had no answers for me, no special meaning or plan. How could I be a happy man? Then just like in a love song you hear, making each day seem so clear. Now I can smile, I'm a happy man. I'm in love and I'm alive, happy man. Got the sun inside, happy man. I've got a girl on my mind, love in my heart, happy man. I'm in love and I'm alive, happy man. Got the sun inside, happy man. So now the whole world can see I've got all I need, I'm a happy man. Keep going. Aren't they fantastic? And now you say it's happened to you, this love I'm feeling inside. Girl, you've made me. And I will share a lifetime with you, I hope, making our dreams all come true. Now I can smile, I'm a happy man. Here we go. I'm in love and I'm alive, happy man. Got the sun inside, happy man. I've got a girl on my mind, love in my heart, happy man. Here we go, try it, come on.
I'm in love and I'm alive, happy man. Got the sun inside, happy man.
So now the whole world can see I've got all I need, I'm a happy man. Okay, boys, bring her up, bring her up. I'm in love and I'm alive, happy man. Got the sun inside, happy man. I've got a girl on my mind, love in my heart, happy man, yeah. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Bye now. That's Mr. Strauss.